The Mishnah Berurah brings down in Sivkat and Hey and Sivkat and Vav of the importance of trying to do mitzvot and not being ashamed from other people. And it's a halakha in the Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah brings down in Siman Aleph, in Halacha Aleph, the Ramah says, "V'lo yitbayesh b'pnei bnei Adam hamilagim alav b'avodat Hashem yitbarach." The Ramah says that at times a person, he wants to do mitzvot, he wants to learn Torah. A person has always this connection that he wants to be great. He wants to be able to rise to the par, to be able to rise above the level in when it comes to the service of Hashem. But the problem is, a lot of times what happens is, people are looking. What are people going to say? What are people going to think of him? Maybe somebody's going to make fun of him. So the Ramah is telling you, it's a halakha, guys, this is not a musar class. The Ramah tells you, it's paskin in the Shulchan Aruch, Siman Aleph, Halacha Aleph, V'lo yitbayesh mipnei bnei Adam hamilagim alav. You should not be ashamed from other people that this, what they're making fun of you, that should prevent you from doing your mitzvot or learning Torah. On the contrary, you should go ahead and do the mitzvah. And the Mishnah Berurah says over here, Ve'al kol panim lo yitkotet imahem. The Mishnah Berurah says, nevertheless, you should never quarrel with these people. Why? Mipnei shemidat hazut miguna me'od, ve'en ra'ui l'shamesh memene klal afilu b'avodat Hashem yitbarach. Because he says the midah of azut, midah of azut literally means chutzpah. A person has to have this brazenness. He says one should not use this midah at all when it comes to the service of Hashem. Why? Because he's going to go on to explain, ki yikne kinyan b'nafsho, because he's going to acquire this acquisition in his soul, lihiyot az afilu shlo b'makom avodato yitbarach, that he's going to become brazen even when it's not in the place of, even when it's not in the service of Hashem. Meaning, guys, like this, that you don't want, even though you want to do the mitzvah now, but nevertheless, don't start fighting with people. Why? Because yes, it's a good act. A person has to be brazen. But this brazenness, like it says, Yehuda ben Tema Omer have asken Amer. Yehuda ben Tema says a person has to be brazen like a leopard. What means brazen like a leopard? Not to fight against other people. Brazen like a leopard, you should be brazen within you to be able to do the mitzvah, even though people around you are making fun of you or thinking otherwise, or thinking you're a fanatic or you're a religious Jew, whatever the situation might be. That should not concern you at all. The only concern you should have is my business between me and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, I'm not telling you to start going out and start acting in weird ways and funny ways. Normal. A person has to behave normal. You also do not want to do Chilul Hashem. So that's what the Mishnah Berurah says over in Sivkat and Vav. he says over here, what happens if he's only an average person? Versus you have people that are average, you have people that are above average, and you have people that are below average. What happens if you have an average people like we today? We are average. What happens if you are sitting amongst big rabbis or big Talmidei Chachamim? What should one do in that scenario? So the Mishnah Berurah says over here, V'chein im hu adam binoni, omed b'makom gedolim. If you're an average person and you're standing amongst great people, lo yitbayesh mahem lelumod v'lasot ha-mitzvah. He says, do not be ashamed from them to learn and to do mitzvot. I want to give you guys a very, very simple example. You could apply this to many, many cases. Just one small example. It happened to me many, many years, maybe about 15 years. It happened to me that when I started to learn, especially when you have a Rav, that his whole mahut, his whole being is to be in Torah. His whole being is to pressure every single moment of Torah, which is our Rav Gaon Moshe Walken Shlita. That in a way rubs off on you. So when I started learning with the rabbi, we started learning Gemara, Be'iyun, Mamish. It was unbelievable. So I felt that I wanted to learn more. I wanted to learn more. But the problem was when I would attend bar mitzvahs or weddings or things like that, and I would open up a Gemara just to sit and learn. Believe it or not, people would come and say, "Look at this. Well, look at him. This guy's about to shua, and look at him now. He wants to learn." You have big Talmidei Chacham. You have people with black hats back then. I don't have that. You have people with black hats and a long beard, and everybody's having fun. Everybody's eating, which is nothing wrong. They could do it. Well, I'm not saying they're not allowed to do it. And they're chit-chatting and they're talking. Everybody is doing just the opposite of what I was doing. So they said, what does he want to show himself as a tzaddik? What does he want to do? So that's what the Mishnah Berurah tells you. That even if you're an average person, you are standing amongst great people, you go to a wedding, you go to a bar mitzvah hall, or whatever you are, and you see nobody else is learning. Don't look at them and say, wow, if I open the book now, I might embarrass them. Or if I open the book now, maybe they're going to look at me and they're going to make fun of me. No. It's fine. The Mishnah Berurah tells you could, on the contrary, open the book, learn the Torah, do the mitzvot, and don't be and do not refrain yourself from doing this mitzvah just because there are other people that are greater than you. However, the Mishnah Berurah says, he continues and he says over here, however, he says, if it's possible, however, he says, it's good if you could do it, if you can do this mitzvah, or if you can do the learning Torah, maybe somewhere else where they're not in their presence. He says that's actually much more preferable, but halachically you are allowed to learn. But the Mishnah Berurah does over here, he brings down over here, he says over here, but let me just conclude, I'm going to jump online. He says over here, Ach yechaven libo l'shem shamayim, v'lo litpa'er chalila. However, the Mishnah Berurah says over here that you should have kavanah, you should direct your mind that this what you're doing the mitzvah, or this that you're doing, this that you're learning Torah, you should do it for the sake of Hashem, for the sake of heaven, and not chas v'shalom to glorify yourself. Because the punishment, whoever uses the Torah for their advantage, the punishment is very great. So that's what the Mishnah Berurah over here tells you, that you should not chas v'shalom glorify yourself with it, that if you want to learn Torah, be humble enough, learn Torah. But don't say, here I am, I'm learning Torah and nobody else is learning Torah. That chas v'shalom you should not do. The Mishnah Berurah also brings down another case. What happens, he says, if you have a person that he's standing among average people that can actually learn out from him. The Mishnah Berurah says, Yesh lomar tov yoter la'asot b'fnehem shilmudu mimenu la'asot k'ma'asehu. On the contrary, if you're able to be amongst people that they could learn out from you, they're average people, and now maybe you know what they don't know, he says you should try to do mitzvot on the contrary in front of them. Why? In order for them to learn out from you what needs to be done or not. Because you have to understand, guys, whenever you have a person that's wearing a kippah, a black kippah, or when he's wearing a hat, or even if you look like a Jew, people automatically look at you, and the assumption is that whatever a Jew does, that's halakha. So therefore, guys, we also have to be very careful the way we dress, the way we behave, the way we speak, no foul language, no lashon hara, no wasting time. All these things are very, very big isurim from the Torah. It's a very, very big problem. I don't want to get into it now, but a person has to be very careful the way he behaves like a Jew. Again, guys, the same concept of the Mishnah Berurah concludes, and he says also, for both cases, whether you're an average person standing amongst great people, or if you're an average person that's standing amongst average people and they can learn out from you, in both cases, you can do the mitzvot, you should learn the Torah, etc. But you have to make sure, guys, not to chas v'shalom, glorify yourself or even feel that you are better than them now because you're doing mitzvot and they are not. That you should not do. But you should actually do l'shem shamayim. You know what it means l'shem shamayim? Very simple. That this what I'm doing right now, I'm doing it only because you, Hashem, commanded me to do so. Because otherwise, if it's not for you, why should I do this? Why can't I go have fun like everybody else? So therefore, guys, this is the halakha we see today, that when it comes to doing mitzvot, one should not be ashamed from nobody. Because don't forget, guys, there's a very big rule I'd love to always say, and you should also always remember. Rav Avigdor Miller says that if a person only thought about what's going to be with him in Olam Haba, 1 minute a day, 30 seconds a day, his whole day would be different. A lot of times we wake up in the morning, we're very busy with work, with bills, with the wife, with the children, Baruch Hashem, all this is good. But don't forget, guys, why are we here? We are only here temporarily, not permanent. This is not permanent. We make it permanent. But guys, it's very sad. You see people dying. You see people are leaving. Where are they going? 6 by 6, whatever that. They go to the grave 6 feet under. That's it. Who's there with them? Nobody. Only you. Your mitzvot, your Torah, your ma'asim tovim. So why waste our time on everything else when we can sit and learn the beautiful Torah and do Hashem's mitzvot? In any event, guys, have a great day. Baruch Adonai La'olam. Amen ve'amen.